Hi, I'm Fraser Simpson and I'm here at the Tax Mechanic. In this video, I'm going to talk about the tax gap and the enforcement powers that Revenue Canada is using to collect it. Revenue Canada has various collection powers. They can garnish your bank account, lien your property, go after your small business, garnish accounts receivables, suppliers, even request that you go get a line of credit to pay a tax debt. Their powers are astronomical and they are enforcing them now. So if you get a 14-day legal letter requesting that a tax debt be paid, deal with it right away. You can either pay the debt in full or request a payment arrangement. Now, to do the payment arrangement, you must do it within the 14 days. Otherwise, they will take action. The first measure that Revenue Canada takes to collect a debt is that they issue what's known as the 14-day legal letter. Now, this letter needs to be responded to promptly. If you don't respond or pay your debt within the 14 days, they will garnish your bank account. If you have a debt and you need to make a payment arrangement, Revenue Canada will request income and expenses, assets and liabilities. They'll even request that you go to the bank to get a line of credit or to refinance and mortgage your property. Once you've done this, whatever money you have left over at the end of the month, you'll have to pay to Revenue Canada for a period of 6 months. Then they'll issue what's known as a payment arrangement letter. You need to assign that letter to your account. Once you have that, they can't take any further legal action. One strategy that people use is bankruptcy to get away from the Revenue Canada debt. This one is usually promoted by trustees in bankruptcy so that they make fees. I'm proud to say in my 35 years, I've never had a client go bankrupt. You can always make a payment arrangement with Revenue Canada if you negotiate with them. If you need help with that, there's professionals like myself that can assist you in that. But you don't have to go bankrupt, and even going bankrupt doesn't always clear your debt. So if you have a debt with Revenue Canada, I recommend that you go the payment arrangement route, and if you need help with that, there's professionals like myself that can help you with it. Some clients use bankruptcy as a strategy. That's usually promoted by trustees in bankruptcy, but this does not always clear the debt. Sometimes Revenue Canada will disallow the bankruptcy, and therefore the debt remains after you are discharged. So if you're thinking of going this route, keep in mind that it doesn't always clear the debt. I'll tell you, I know exactly what they'll say to me as soon as I call them. They'll say right away, first of all, they will not tell me about income and expense, provide income and expenses to get a payment plan. First of all, they won't tell me that I can get a payment plan.
They don't want a payment plan.
The first thing they say to me is, pay the debt. And it's like, no questions, anything else, right? And then it's like, well, we can't afford to pay the debt. Well, that's what we want, so buy. No, wait a minute. Can't I make a payment arrangement? Oh, yeah, okay. And now he's got to deal with that. So then you got to go income and expenses, but then they'll review the expenses and they'll go credit cards and go, oh, you're spending too much on this and that, and then, it should be this. Like, go get a loan. Can you, do you have any other assets? So your car, sell your car. Like they basically, go through they can go through every item and contest it all. But at that point, there's no rules. Like they can just, sure, income and expenses, but they can just keep it going on and then calls and so you could be going through weeks of this, right? Dealing with capital gains. It went from taxing it at 50% to 75%, back to 50%, back to 75%. It's been going like a ping pong because it's money. That's right. But when you get to collection measures and you get to the average Joe Canadian, they haven't been reviewing these policies. And so Revenue Canada, these policies really need to be reviewed. It's really unfair to garnish bank accounts and to put Canadians under this kind of pressure. In fact, just the other week, a young family came into my office on a Friday afternoon. The woman was crying. She just had her bank account frozen by Revenue Canada. They ended up having no money for the weekend. They bounced their mortgage payment, bounced their car payment. They had to go to friends just to make it through the weekend. Now, these measures by Revenue Canada were instituted in 1973. They're outdated, and they're not being used with any common sense. I don't think it was ever intended to ruin a young family's livelihood that way, or to put that kind of pressure on them for the weekend, or to even hurt them with having the kids and not having money for groceries for the weekend. So I've contacted my MP to express my concern and to review these measures by Revenue Canada, and I request that you do the same.